Barely living, but I'm so alive. Well, good afternoon, everybody. There's a couple of you in here. I thought I'd break the ice, the silence with my try to shake off the jitters a little bit right off the get-go. Man, I did not expect that I was gonna have stage fright yesterday. But y'all, all the folks that came by were real cool about it during my first stream, and you helped me through it. And I mean, that means a lot to me. And speaking of me, I'm Rumble, and I like making stuff. I do gotta ask if anybody out there in the chat, can you guys hear my air conditioning? Because it is hot out there and I would like to keep it on, but if it's noisy, then please do tell me. Let me know so I can make adjustments, because I don't want that disturbing us. Actually, let's make sure that I don't well, Azzy hears it in real life, because Azzy is my raptor roommate. So I might need a different opinion, but I'll wait until maybe there's a couple more people in stream so that I can ask them about it. Somebody that doesn't live with me. Oh, lovely. Rowlet says, I do not hear it. It is good. Welcome. Welcome, Rowlets. Welcome to chat. Thank you for letting me know. That way I can stay nice and cool. I was just singing to myself to try and shake off the stage fright just a little bit. I got that kerosene tongue. I got that joy like a drugstore. I got that deafening pulse. It's like my heart is a dance floor. My life's a wreck, I'm just a mess. My common sense, I ghosted him. I think I lost my way. Some days I just... Oh. I just forget the words. That's okay. We're not professionals here. We're just having a good time, having a fun time. Okay, let's see if we can get right into it, actually, because I mean, why not? Let's get right into making stuff, and then we'll chat while we do that. So let's Here we go. And let me make sure that I have all of the right tabs open. Great. I have notes in front of me now to help me remember to actually look at my tabs. Let's see. Let's turn the screen off. Oop, screen on. Let's turn the screen on. And there we go. There's our beautiful Azure Raptor that we're working on. I did a little bit more. I tried to bang out a little bit more of the what's called okay. my my PC decided to be a little weird. Decided I was gonna. Oh boy! Now I know how to drag the canvas around. Thanks to Vector yesterday, letting me know. But yeah, I tried to get a couple of the text the meshes. I tried to get the meshes out of the way so that, you know, it's not all. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do because I made a lot of parts for Azzy. As I learned, the more parts, the better. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Nope. And yeah. So we're just gonna keep keeping on while I chat with you guys a little bit, because what sort of happened yesterday was I didn't expect that I was gonna be so scared, so scared to talk, right off the. I don't know why. It didn't even cross my mind that I might be a little nervous, which is so funny because it makes me think of way back when I was a kitten in school, and Rowlitz is just a ghost. So, oh, I shouldn't be scared of you because you're a ghost, or you know, it reminds me of back in school. You know, when you had a presentation of some kind to do, and oh, I told myself, "Oh, I know all about this subject. I have it all memorized. It's going to be so easy. I'll just stand in front of everybody and I'll just, you know, I'll know exactly what to say." And I won't have any trouble remembering all this knowledge that I've worked hard to achieve. And then, you know, come time for presentation day, all of a sudden, everything I've ever known is locked in a secret vault, and I have a huge key ring full of a million keys, and I don't know which one goes to the the lock, the locked away knowledge. So what I, you know, should have learned back then and never did. I never did learn my lesson. You know, sometimes I did a couple of presentations where you know, I just had one. I'd just done one, and it was fresh in my mind, the horrors of standing in front of a classroom and not having any idea what to say. And I would have my cue cards ready, and that would be, you know, it would go a lot better when I remembered to do that. I don't always remember to do it. And I sure as heck didn't think I would need to do it for VTubing. But I think this time around it's going to be a lot easier for me to, you know, instead of stammering and then wondering, floundering is a good word for it. Instead of floundering, I actually wrote down a list so that I don't forget what I want to talk about, because there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about on my debut, but I didn't get to it because I was just, you know, I was a little nervous, and also extremely tired. Let us not forget that coming to stream after a 8-hour shift, 8.5-hour shift, mind you, comes with its own unique challenges. My little noggin was empty, and I was a little slow to start. But you know, hopefully this time I'm a little more chatty, a little more talkative, a little more entertaining. But yeah, I made sure also to eat before stream instead of during, and because I really should have just scarfed all of those fries down. I was eating during stream, and that was not very good. It was very naughty of me to be chewing in front of the audience. Even though you can't see my real life mouth, and it's just the model's mouth, I was still going like a little fishy. And I'm no fish. I'm a kitty cat. None of that fish nonsense. Not that fish are nonsense. I do love my fish. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't really get to talk about that I like, you know, leading up to the stream. I had absolutely been, oh, I want to tell them this, I want to tell them that, I want to, namely, I wanted to talk about making stuff, because that's my whole dig, that's my whole deal, is I love making stuff, and I it's gonna be, you're gonna hear that a lot from me, because I think, you know, in this day and age, everybody kind of refers to things as, there's a side effect of like hustle culture that everyone's kind of not bought into or anything, but you know, inadvertently it's kind of just entered the zeitgeist as content creation. Oh, we're creating content. I'm not an artist, I'm a content creator, you know? And it's not something that, you know, necessarily was a negative connotation at first, but nowadays it's like, okay, it's a little cynical, it's a little, feels a little jaded referring to yourself as a content creator when you're just trying to do stuff, have fun, make things. Obviously, I love to make art. It's one of my favorite things to make. I make a lot of other stuff too. I make clothes. My job is making clothes. And I don't hate my job. It takes a lot out of me, but I think it's a good fit for me, getting to make things as my job. I mean, if you ask me, I would prefer if they paid me a little more for it. But I think that's a different discussion. Because my point is, and will always be, about making stuff, making things. And that's kind of what I have to remind myself is, oh, you know, it seems like a slog when I'm doing it. Oh, you know, here's a bunch of pieces of fabric, make pieces of fabric turn into something that, you know, the boss man can make money off of, all that stuff. But sometimes I'll just sit back and I'll think of what it is I'm really making. Like, yeah, I'm making a pair of gym shorts, so what? But then I think about what people wear gym shorts for, and they want to go play sports. Go out, have a good time. Oh, what the I beg your pardon. Ah! Is that coming through for anyone else? Okay, it's not doing it anymore. That was so weird. What the heck? Okay. Rowlets, you're not like haunting my computer, are you? Well, what up, spaceman? Thanks for joining us. I was just talking about making stuff. Making stuff for my job. Oh, I knew it. Curse you, Rowlets. Okay, well, don't spook me like that again. Don't scare me like that again. Please, please and thank you. Another thing I like to make for fun is I like to make cosplays. Having some dinners, hearing about the important work that goes into the gym shorts. You know, gym shorts are important. Yeah, I will go back to that, actually. Because, it's important to have the right clothes for playing and But it says those gym shorts are comfy. It's true. I brought some home. That's the privilege of working at the gym shorts factory. We're not a gym shorts factory, but you know, I don't want to get too far into it, into the real nature. But I do get to take some things home. Sometimes if they have scrap fabric, I'll sorry guys, it's my tablet. The wire from my tablet is a little old. It's a little faded. But yeah, as far as things I do for fun, things I make for fun, it's always a good idea to take some time to make some fun stuff. Is cosplaying. I talked about that. I love sewing up some crazy. See, you know what, Vector? You told me how to do this, and I've forgotten it already. How to drag my screen. Can I pick a dock that's not gonna? Okay, there we go. Hey, I know which button it is. He says the best is space bar. You would know, huh, spaceman? You would know all about the space bar. But yeah, cosplay isn't just sewing, of course. There's also a ton of like prop making and wig styling, makeup, and all that stuff is fun for me. I love doing that stuff. It can get a little overwhelming if you don't pace yourself, which I am. I will freely admit that I'm pretty bad at pacing myself. With that being said, it's cool trying out new things. The last cosplay I did, I got to make well, it wasn't the first time I made armor, but it was the first time I used foam to make armor. Which, I gotta say, using foam is a lot easier than the other materials that I've used in the past, and I won't say what I used in the past because it's damning. I I'll admit it is not advised. I don't want to ever give anybody the idea that it is okay to use the materials that I've used in the past. So it's a preventative measure that I'm gonna, my lips are sealed. What else do we love making? I say very recently, but the past few years now, I've been getting into embroidery. That's a real fun thing to make, because you can really just the subject doesn't have to be anything in particular. Like, you can choose what your favorite subject is to embroider, and then you can just embroider that. Like, I mean, a lot of people embroider flowers, and I also am a big fan of flowers, so that ends up being a lot of what I make. Uh, but yeah, like, there's people that do, like, their favorite cartoon characters, or uh, some people do, oh, like bugs and animals. I would love to expand my my skill set into. Uh-oh, one of my roommates just jumped up onto the desk. Hey, there's only room for one cat on this desk, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to relocate you. Oh, goodness gracious. You know how hard it is to lift another cat up when you when you don't even have hands? It's rough. Ooh, fossil embroidery. That's cool. Yeah, like some people they use the different techniques. Um, what did I just say? You can't be here. Sorry about that. But yeah, people do like they add in moss, or they throw in like other, like they use a whole bunch of techniques to make it look like a fossil that was like found out, in the jungle or something. Uh, I was about to uh, talk about stump work too. Stump work is so cool. Like, it's probably easier than it looks, but I feel like that's not saying much, because stump work is literally making something three-dimensional out of embroidery. They'll like make butterfly wings, or um, I've seen people do not just like the butterfly wings, but like the um, what's it called, the abdomen, and like the legs and everything. Like they put they embroider around like wires and stuff. It's crazy. Where do I want to start on this one? This is just a shadow, so it's not going to be too detailed. Yeah, never even heard of stump work. So yeah, like I only, well, to be fair, I've only been just learning about embroidery and stuff. But um yeah, I was curious to see how people were doing that stuff, because I would see like um stuff where they would have like a flower where the petals were like coming off of the fabric and everything, and I was like, how do people do that? And then And then one day somebody, some person who must have a similar sense of humor to me, posted a tree stump that they had done with stump work. And that's how I learned how it was called, what it was called. So, but yeah, there's all types of stuff that, and like you can learn about just about anything from people who make stuff for fun are the best people to learn from, honestly, because they'll gladly show you how it's done. There's no real gatekeeping. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, let's go. What else? I did that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Oh, I did do the sclera. Let's do the sclera. Ooh! Of course, that's some of the stuff that that I like to make. I'm curious to hear. Well, not here. You know, you guys know what I mean. I'm curious to find out. You know, anybody in chat, what you guys like to make. Because there's like endless categories of things that you can make. Aside from my upcoming cosplay of Just a Man, I'm probably going to start on an Allosaurus plush soon. Really? You didn't tell me that. That sounds great. You decided it like yesterday. Oh, you want to make Frey. Frey is as is Asmar cowboy mount. So it's their D&D characters mount. I'm looking for... That'd be great to have a little Frey plushie. Vector says, I started 3D printing this year and brushing up on my 3D modeling, and it's been pretty rad. That's something that is... I think it's just way cool how 3D printing has really opened up kind of just a whole new world to a bunch of people who, you know, otherwise wouldn't have been making the stuff that they're making now. People making figurines of like their favorite characters, or they'll make they'll make just about anything. They'll make like supplies for around the house. They'll make little like doodads to help them with their day-to-day. Like there's this one guy that you wouldn't be able to get me to. He comes up on my YouTube shorts. That's how that's how I've seen this guy's stuff. But he shows off these things that he's 3D modeled and 3D printed that are like, it's like engineering and stuff. Where he'll make like things that are shaped kind of like houseplants. Usually is his favorite kind of shape to make something in. But it'll have like some kind of secondary purpose. So he has like a cactus that's like a toothpick holder. Or I've forgotten all of them now. I've forgotten everything but the cactus. There are a lot of really cool things though, like stuff that's like useful. And it's all stuff that like if you just get the files from him, you can make yourself with your own 3D printer. Which is another aspect that I find really awesome, is that people can just like share what they've made, and you know, anybody who's got a 3D printer can just have one. 3D printing is another thing that people use for cosplay a lot now too, because there's all sorts of like fantastical shapes and crap that like are really difficult to recreate in real life, but people will use their 3D printer to print it out and make it. Some people will print miniatures for their D&D campaign, and oh, what the heck? That'll be something. Or even like the environments themselves. They'll make a D&D dungeon out of 3D printing, or a 3D model that they made. I think that's great stuff. Miniature printing has really come a long way. Great quality models for pennies per print. It's really, that's the other thing too, is it's making a lot of hobbies that were maybe less accessible because of the cost, a lot more cost effective for, and that's the whole point, you know. Games like D&D that are and other tabletop games that are like an open source project, they benefit like a whole lot from people having better access to them. And that's the point. That's the whole point. Like, it's not about making money. I mean, no matter what Wizards of the Coast thinks. But yeah. That is the, well, when you say plastics, there's kind of like an instant recoil effect because we all kind of understand that plastic isn't the best material to make things out of anymore in terms of the environment. But hopefully, you know, there's a lot of really smart people that spend you know, more time than I do thinking about this kind of stuff. I don't think it's too far away to think somebody will make a more sustainable kind of filament for people to, you know, construct things out of. Eco-resins. It'd be nice to think we could make more sustainable and workable materials. Yeah. So to talk a little bit about why making things is so important to me. Because it's really a part of the Rumble identity. The Rumble lore, if you will. But when I was growing up, ah yes, the deep lore. But when I was growing up as a little kitten, one of my guardians who was often looking after me was my grandma. I'll call her Grandma Grumble. But that was the number one way that we would kind of bond, you know, was because she was always making stuff. She was always baking. You can make a bake. She was always making. She was always knitting. She taught me how to knit. I haven't knit in a long time because it's a little. Rumble's a little airheaded and flighty, and I'll forget that I'm working on a project, and then all of a sudden I'll be digging through my things, and I was like, oh no, here's this blanket that I never finished. Oh dear, you know, and then I'll forget where I left the pattern and everything. But it is fun for me, and my grandma taught me how to do that one. My grandma, and she taught me her very unorthodox baking methods. She never measured anything with measuring cups. She if she used measuring cups, she used them to mix things in. That's all she used them for. Okay, hang on. So I've just been going down the list here of parts. and we've reached the precipice of the teeth, and I'm gonna ask you guys. You guys, are you guys cool with me going ahead with the teeth? I can do those on my own time, or I can maybe skip them for now. Yeah, let's maybe skip them for now. Let's go to the nostrils. But yeah, I used to go ahead and I'd after school or in the summertime, I go over to her place and help her bake and help her with whatever else she was putting together. And she was always help me with crafts and stuff when I was really little. One thing she used to always make was she used to make homemade Play-Doh. So I wouldn't say that we never got real Play-Doh, because we did. But she would she would make her own. And it tasted just as bad as the real Play-Doh. It was just as salty and nasty and soapy tasting. And I realize I'm telling on myself. But yeah, and then she would color it with food coloring. So we get all of the we'd have Play-Doh of all kinds of unseen colors. Okay, Az. See you later. No matter what, because we live with each other. Plus, I'll be seeing you on my screen because I'm making your model. But go take a nap. Go have a raptor nap. You don't want to take a cat nap. That's just going to screw up everything. Velociraptor, there you go. That's another thing you can always make. You can always make jokes. But yeah. My grandma Gumple, unfortunately, she's not around no more. But she was a very special person to me, so she instilled the love of making things in me. You can't see it here because I'm up close and personal right now. But on my model, you can see the spot where my tattoo is. Can't see the tattoo because my fur grew over it, but I got a tattoo shortly after she passed away. I actually went and I got it with my sisters. And we all got the same one. Because another thing my grandma would make was she would make poetry. So we got one of her poems as a tattoo. And everyone else, they kind of got it somewhere discreet. They made sure that it was somewhere like, you could put it under your sleeve if you wanted to hide it or something. But I wanted mine on my hand, actually. Well, on my paw, I suppose. So that's what I used to make things. I use my paws. And I think it's a really great way to connect with other people. Either, connecting with people that enjoy the stuff that you make, connecting with people that make the same kind of stuff that you like to make. Connecting with the people that taught you how to make it in the first place. Connecting these stupid lines that won't connect properly. Why are they doing that? That's so weird. Hang on. Anyway, not to get super philosophical on everybody, but I thought it was important. It was an important Rumble fact. Important Rumble lore. Oh, see, it did it again. Why would it do that? That's just silly. I think that's the problem, is I made them too far apart. I feel that I didn't have very many artist friends growing up, and getting to meet a bunch of talented folks with similar goals in the streaming space has been great. That's awesome. I think that's really cool. Because there's some like there's other ways to connect with people. There's connecting with people like over a favorite game or a favorite TV show or movie or something like that, and that's fine. Like that's a perfectly good way to get to know people. But I think you know making stuff is such a wide variety of things. and it can encompass so many different angles, and even just within the different particular ways that you can make things. You know, like a knitting community or an embroidery community or a VTubing community is gonna have like a whole bunch of different kinds of people in it. And I think that just makes life way more interesting, you know? Getting to know, like, I mean, it's always good to get to know somebody who's real similar to you, but I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, meeting people that are just a little different than you and think differently and approach things from a different angle. Oh! Uh-oh. We're making mistakes is what we're doing right now. But that's something that's something worth making too. Even if it kind of sucks sometimes. It's never a waste of time, even if you do make mistakes. You're always learning something. Let's see. I want to make, for example, the way I'm throwing dots on just crazy style probably seems like, whoa. There is a method to the madness. And it's a method that I learned because I for sure would be modeling motion and stuff and finding out that the way that I modeled out the mesh did not work. And so I've kind of figured out what works and what doesn't. And so that's why I can just like look at a mesh and just be like, yeah, that's a good mesh. Oh, there's my phallic mesh that I did last stream. Okay, let's do this shadow. Some days I wanna fry my mind, self-medicate to pass the time. I'm Keith Richards with the 9 to 5. Barely living, but I'm so alive. There's gotta be a better word for that. I don't know. I like that word. I don't know. I think it's a perfectly good word. You know it's fun to be a Kennedy of anxiety. I got little death on the brain. Well, this is good. This is one I can copy paste onto another one. I don't know if this mesh needs to be super detailed just because it's the bottom. Oh, no, yeah, it does. It does. Because when Azure's head turns, it's going to be doing stuff that I'm going to want a lot of articulation. So the whole reason, well, not the whole reason. There's many reasons why I decided to make a Rumble model and make my debut as a VTuber. And I touched on it a little bit during my debut stream, but I do want to just, I want to talk a little more about it because I didn't really get to talk about it very much on account of being a little scaredy cat and chickening out and forgetting all the words I've ever known. Well, it also didn't help that I was super, super tired. But, what I really want to do is I want to start making YouTube videos. And I want to make these videos for the same reason that I've been doing. I want to do these streams, is because I want to share, you know, learning the stuff I'm going to be learning, because I'm about to be learning a whole lot of stuff about game development. And I think it would be fun to just share like how I go about it. And I'm sure there's like I thought about like doing blog posts or some other, oh, I need to copy these. Some other way of sharing things on the internet, but and I'm sure if YouTube doesn't really work out, maybe I'll see if that works. But I don't know. You never know. You know, you never know until you try. But yeah, because where's my jaw? There it is. Yeah, so I'm not making the texture analysis. I'm not there yet. No way. Absolutely not. There we go. Beauty. But hello? Oh, I have a select tool. Whoa. I gotta be paying attention to what I'm doing. It's cause I got distracted by my little script. But yeah, I want to share the creation of my video game, not just VODs. So I guess why don't I talk a little bit about it? Because I haven't really gotten into it. I choked a little last time. There was a lot of stuff that I thought I was gonna get to say, and then I forgot to say it. But that's okay. We learned something. Just a second. Just a second. Okay, apologies. I once again had a cat in my space, which normally I am all for, but unfortunately when I'm streaming it kind of can't. Yeah, we do. We love getting in your space. Now I've forgotten where I am. Oh yeah. Now I'm not gonna name the game just yet. I don't wanna drop a name until like fairly far along in the development. But I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I've been working on it already for a long time. Not as intensely as I would like to, but I'm gearing up to ramp up. But I had an idea back in like 2021, right in the middle of the panini. That I want to make a horror game. I want to make a scary game. I want to scare people. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to make a spooky game. Like, and it's hard for me to articulate, I think, because why am I making this so detailed? Pardon me. I think it's I want to make something that's genuinely scary, but also incredibly fun. That would be uh just fantastic in my point of view. And one of the things I think is a fair criticism of some horror games that are like really scary horror games is maybe that they're a little too stressful all the time. Like there isn't really a break unless you just put the game down and not play it for a little bit. And I think it would be good for me to keep in mind like pacing when I'm filling out the narrative and the gameplay and all that, because it's an important aspect that I think because you can just like pause a game and you know, take a physical break from something. uh I feel like that it's a little bit, it's cheating a little bit. But kind of relying on the fact that, oh, the players can just pause. Which, you know, every once in a while it's good to have a moment where it's like, you know, they might have to pause to take a breath. But yeah, like you say, Vector, it's nice when there's sections of the game where you don't have to be super anxious. Um, of course, that also lends opportunity for surprising the player and everything. Um, but yeah, it's funny because it took me a long time to get into the genre of horror. Um, I don't think I ever considered myself a fan of horror for like the longest time. But then, you know, after seeing a few horror movies, playing a few horror games, and kind of uh, seeing what is on offer in a lot of different mediums, I've really come to really enjoy the genre. There's so much to love about it. There's the self-referential kind of camaraderie that horror makers have with other horror media, and there's there's kind of like a horror kayfabe too. Like, you know, you don't go into, there's some series and stuff that you don't really go into like expecting to have to suspend your disbelief. You're kind of, you're buying into it on purpose because it's fun. It's fun to just like go to like a slasher movie and just enjoy it for what it is. And I really, there's some stuff out there that, like, it does a good job of being scary, but I don't know if it has the spirit that I'm hoping to capture. Like stuff like FNAF, which I'm not meaning to. I mean, we do mean to bash the Scott Cawthon. Is that his name? I don't know. We're but it's more so like it's a problem that happens a lot with like visual novels and like other kind of genres that get clowned on a lot, and not without reason, but there's kind of this invasive issue with certain genres of games, and it's like a lack of desire, I think, to be treated with, or not treated, to be seen as being a part of the genre that it's trying to be a part of, you know? Like, there's kind of, especially with visual novels, there's just like been like a bunch of games that kind of are just like, this is a deconstruction of this, and it's more of a, like, it's more of a dig at it than anything. It's not really a deconstruction so much as it's just the whole joke is, isn't it funny? It's a visual novel, which is a little bland. And I think it happens with some horror too, where it's just like, we're not like the other girls. We're different. Yeah, nobody likes mean-spiritedness in a genre of work. And I don't know that I'm qualified to create a love letter to, to horror gaming, at least. But at the very least, I want to give my best shot. And I want it to have, like, I want it to be scary, obviously. Like, not just kind of the flavor of spooky. I guess like the um I'm not going for like you know what Walmart is allowed to market as scary, you know? The advertiser friendly, censor friendly um not, and yeah, like I guess I should really sit down and decide what I mean by this, because I don't know that I'm coming across as incredibly articulate with the the feeling that I feel. That I feel so deeply. But because I want it to be like a genuine horror experience, like something that you well, you know, it'll get the adrenaline pumping. It'll make you think about stuff that maybe is uncomfortable or scary to think about. But then also at the same time, I really do want it to be fun. In the sense that like uh hmm that looks like spam. Let me just how do I hmm. How do I pick out how do I pick out a comment and just like get rid of it? Cuz that looks like spam. Chat menu in OBS. Oh no. What are my chat settings? Chat menu. Users in chat. They're not even in chat. They just came and went. Oh, that banned. I did it! Hooray! We banned someone. It gave me options, but they were confusing me. And now I'm doing that thing where I'm just opening tabs without thinking anymore. Okay, so we want OBS to be on top and then that one. Okay, great. Oh snap, what was I talking about? I was talking about my game. So I want to make it like what's a really good, like a really fun, like Dead by Daylight is a good example of like really fun, like being really fun with it. Like obviously there's elements of it that are super freaking scary, but like it's a blast at the same time. I've never played the game because I probably would panic the second I started playing. I'm sure that Az will get me to play it at some point. He's already gifted me Repo, so we know that I've been roped into that one. One thing that on the subject of like stress and like causing stress in players, I do like that to an extent. Things like what is it? What's it called? There's a word for it. QuickTime events. You can get real nasty with those. And there's it's hit or miss. Like there's some games where they implement it really well. There's some games where they sometimes implement it really well, and then sometimes they really kind of, you're like, could this not have been something else? But I was thinking a lot about that, like if that would be a type of gameplay worth pursuing. And I think if I do enough like studying like of what works and what doesn't work, I think I can maybe implement it in a way that's stressful enough that you're sufficiently scared, but not so stressed that you're like it's upset. Like it makes it not fun, you know. Like you want to get to the end of the segment, and you're gonna want to be like, wow, that was crazy, and then you know you're glad that it's over, but it's also you're kind of proud of yourself for getting through it, kind of thing. But I was thinking about that, and when I was thinking about that, I was like, you know, there's some games that like implement almost like a rhythm quick time events. One of the games that I was thinking of first and foremost was obviously not a horror game. Maybe it's a horror game for some people, but like Paper Mario. Paper Mario is a game where like there's certain attacks that like are timed, and you can make the attacks more effective if you time things right, or less effective obviously in reverse. And it inspired me, and I think that uh implementing rhythm elements into a horror game would actually be a real interesting, and it works really well with the story that I've been concocting. Oh, here we go. We're starting to get some inner workings. Here's this. This looks a little weird when it's just by itself, huh? Let's not think about it too hard. Speaking of horror, look at this thing. I do think it would be possible for me to implement like a straight like straight rhythm sections too. I think it would be really fun. That's another thing about Rumble is I love me some kick-ass video game music, and it would give me a great excuse to just have some real badass freaking tunes to to uh to have these rhythm sections like set to. Um, One of my favorite games of all time is and honestly, in my opinion, one of the greatest games ever made. And I know that not everyone's going to agree with me, but is Elite Beat Agents. Um, I just friggin' love that game. And it's just an excellent rhythm game for a number of reasons. Obviously, you know, just having good implementation. Like, I was a little worried seeing that there was a rhythm game on the DS. I was like, let's see, Vector. Man, that just makes me think of old 1960s teen mystery team cartoons where characters were always inexplicably part of a band. That would be such a layup for rhythm-based horror. That is an interesting approach, because that's not the I will say right now that's not even close to the approach that I had in mind. I'll be real. To be fair though, one of the things that I really want to put in, and the thing again, it's like it's something that sounds ridiculous, but it kind of has to be ridiculous. I want to have something that's just silly as fuck, and then also make it scary. Which is I need there to be a werewolf band, boy band. That's It's just really important to me that there is a werewolf boy band. And that uh, that they sing about eating people. I oh I here's the thing is, and I'm gonna plug one of my favorite indie bands currently again. But I didn't know about with 3 werewolves and T-shirts of them howling with 3 werewolf moon. I was thinking more along the lines of 5. 5 is a good number for boy bands, to be fair. And then there would be 2. There would be 2. 2 of them would have the same name. That's the one boy band joke that everybody plays. But their name would be um uh their name would be either It would be Lou. Like Lewis, but like Lou. You know what I mean? Like there would be a Lewis P and and I'm doing the thing again. I'm zooming in and out. Anyway. A Lewis P and a Lewis G. Or something along those lines. And then you go to a concert and they all transform on stage. It would be fabulous. And then they start killing people in the in the stands. I didn't. I came up with the well, I came up with the thought of a werewolf boy band, and then I discovered, like 2 years later, I discovered Bear Ghost, and that they have like a teen werewolf song. He's not in a boy band though, but it is a rock song about a boy turns into a werewolf on prom night. It's pretty great. I'm a werewolf, baby, yeah, you best be believing. I'll tear your throat out while everybody's screaming. Climb on and get to the color of rose flows. Won't remember nothing till this gory story comes to a close. That's all you're getting of that song. Because I cannot do... I'm not quick enough to do the verses. He really goes like as fast as humanly possible. I'm surprised it's not like sped up. Definitely running out of steam. What do I got on my little docket? Let's see. Oh yeah. So when I'm working on this stuff, I am gonna be posting YouTube videos about it. And so those are going to be more rehearsed, rehearsed and thorough dives into like what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, what my process is, what my thoughts are. And so stuff that I'm making for the game, usually I probably won't be streaming a lot of it. Maybe like little stuff that's not so like important to, like if I'm like modeling, I don't know, a tree or something. uh you know, stuff that's not integral to the stuff that, you know, you kind of want to hold off on. However, I will be revealing, you know, things little by little and kind of showing my my other creative processes and showing my learning process also. Because again, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to have to learn. Like I mentioned, I'm going to have to learn how to 3D model. Because the aesthetic that I'm going for is definitely like a PlayStation 2 aesthetic. And ye olden games. Yeah, absolutely. I think for the style that I wanna emulate, I don't think anything more like it doesn't need to be like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or whatever it's called. It, it's, I don't need everyone to be able to see every single bit of quartz on like a singular rock. I just need all I need is my characters to move the way that I want them to move and to uh, convey the wretchedness of the body horror and other terrible things that I'm going to subject people to, um, convey, and you know, I think there's a lot of very stylized PlayStation 2 games out there that do a fan freaking tastic job. Like No More Heroes, shit, man. No More Heroes will be a game, but like we same, you know. uh Devil May Cry is a big inspiration for me also, and that's one that started on PlayStation 2. I actually think people learning game dev should start by making games as if they were working on old consoles. Make something you would have wanted to play on Game Boy or N64 or PS2 or stuff like that. You learn the basics and you don't have to compare yourself to modern fancy games. I will definitely be making more than just the one game that I want to make for the sake of learning, you know? Like I will probably make at least one rhythm game that's just something else completely. Um One of the really good benefits of having like a low poly kind of aesthetic is also just being not killing people's machines. It is absolutely horrendous the 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 way that modern games are just like enormous freaking like 100 GB monstrosities that it's just there's no point. Like there's some things you can justify with, you know, being a little bit more intense, like having like if you want a world to feel really big and you want to have a large draw distance, then yeah, okay. Absolutely. That makes sense. Or but there's also ways around that. Like, and I mean this isn't exactly the best example because it is also like a very high res game. But a lot of Rockstar stuff, like they manage to make the worlds that they're in seem humongous when really it's like it's the Hyrule map from Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. Like it's not nearly as big as it feels. That's why you put a mountain in the way. I'm not going to be putting a whole lot of mountains in the way to be fair, but I will be putting a lot of uh, sheets of granite because we're going to be taking a lot of inspiration from the good old Canadian Shield in terms of setting. But another thing is maybe, well, a lot of modern games do this, is where, you know, your cutscenes are basically your cutscene model is also your gameplay model. Like it's not a separate cutscene model that you're using, which, you know, that also has its appeal. Like, you know, when when games used to do that, it used to be like, ah, geez, oh, they made a cutscene with the regular model. Oh well, I guess it's not going to be that pretty. Whereas nowadays, it's like that's kind of expected. Yes, my in-game model is cutscene ready, actually. Do I think that you need to be able to see their pores? I don't know. Anyway, as far as the content I'm gonna be making, I think the first few YouTube videos I'm going to be making are definitely going to be centered around like character design. Because I think first and foremost I need to really go back, because that's the thing, is I got these ideas back in 2021 and I just immediately opened my well, at the time I was still using Photoshop, but I opened up my program and started drawing, because I was like, I got to get this down. And then when I was doing that, though, I had no idea the type of setting that I was going to be doing. And now that I kind of have a better idea of the setting, the expectations I have for the graphics and everything, I know a lot more about what I want my character designs to look like. Or at least I know a lot more about what I'm gonna need from them, and that includes like just like a lot of different factors, like whether or not the character's model is gonna like look good moving, like doing like tricks and shit. As well as, you know, what's their life like? What do they do for a living? What kind of place do they live in? What's the weather like? Kind of stuff. So my first few videos, that's kind of gonna be the what to expect. And then, well, I don't know. I guess once I've gotten a few things sorted out, I'll figure out what steps I want to take after that. Like if I want to try and learn how to 3D model, or if I want to start attempting to learn, you know, programming. Level design, stuff like that. I'll kind of figure out what my next step is, and then and right now the next step is, you know, character design. And then from that step I'll decide what the next step is going to be, because there's going to be a lot. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited to do it. I know, like, a lot of people are like, "Are you sure?" But like, I'm not intimidated by learning new things. If anything, that's like an incentive for me to try to do it. It doesn't sound like a chore to me, is what I'm really saying there. Okay. I need... There we go. Whee! As far as streaming goes, like I said, I'm probably not going to stream like a whole bunch of the stuff. That's like, I'm not going to stream myself doing the character designs necessarily. Because I want to save that for YouTube. But I'm always making stuff, so, you know, I can stream myself making stuff that doesn't necessarily pertain to the game, or I can stream fan art that I'm making, or I can stream you know, little things that maybe I'm not going to include in the video, in the YouTube videos, like the polished ones. And then also playing video games themselves. And I've already decided the first game I'm going to be streaming is In Stars and Time, and I'm ready for some time loop shenanigans. I know, Vector, you just got out of some time loop shenanigans. When you were on stream earlier with was it, Ava the Ava Ayla? Let me look. Trapped in a game show for 5,000 years. I thought it was 87 years. Ava. Okay, yeah, I was right. Okay. I really enjoyed that, by the way. I appreciated getting to see that. We all have, you think. You don't remember? Sometimes you come out of a loop and you don't remember everything, you know? um let's see. Oh, another thing I was thinking that'd be really fun is especially if I don't have like anything to work on, or if I feel like too tired, but I still want to, you know, I still want to draw or doodle or something, is like stuff like Jackbox um or Gardic Phone or something. I think that'd be really fun. I definitely want to have streams like that sometimes. Where are these little flies coming from? There's little flies all over my monitor. It's because it's dark in here. Hopefully my LED is working. I got it from the dollar store. So I'm kind of relying on the light from this little dollar store light to illuminate my face so that I can, so that my model's working properly. getting dark outside. I don't know. I think it's getting dark outside because of, like... Excuse me the fuck. I do not have fleas, sir. That life is long behind me. We got rid of the fleas, okay? They're not around no more. How dare you? No, they're little flies. But they're not like little... They're not like any flies I've ever seen before. They're so small. They're not fruit flies. Honestly, I don't mind them. I want to know what they are. I'm a curious cat. I think I swallowed one of them. It feels like I swallowed one. I'm upset now. My coffee isn't done yet. Oh no. It's freezing cold. It's so cold. Well, it's not so cold. It's so incredibly lukewarm. I'm a werewolf, baby, and you best be believing. I'll rip your throat out while everybody's screaming, clowning mine till the color of rose flows. There's a lot of there's a few tongue twisters in that one. Let's see. I could sing She-Rex. That's a good one. I'm not like guys you chased. I wasn't scared by your mean demeanor. Yeah, your skin's a little dry and you're much bigger than I, but you were mine. My friends said I'm insane. That girl's a monster and she'll consume you. Sure enough, chewed me up and spit me out, then you chewed me up again. I still think you're swell. Do you like what has become of me? Turns out I'm just another link in your chain. You are still the girl that I used to know. I don't know what I did. Hello? Oh. It selected everything. I know you meant no harm. The way I got here could have been better. But now I'm torn into pieces and the pain just increases all the time. So small with your tiny little arms, I was entranced by your deafening roar. I love your smile, it was the last thing that I saw before you chopped me up and then you swallowed me whole. Yeah, don't forget to chew. Do you like what has become of me? Turns out I'm just another link in your chain. But you are still the girl that I used to know. All this time I was too blind to see I'm nothing to you but your savory meat. Led by your instincts, you're a carnivore. Ha ha ha. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. Oop. Okay, there we go. Coffee finished. Okay. What are we at? 7 p.m. Been a couple hours. Let's see. Let's turn some music on. Because I ran out of stuff to talk about. Gosh, Vector, you really saved my life telling me about the... Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this person did a very good job of recreating the exact feeling of playing a JRPG from like the late 90s. Listen. Please don't judge me. It's not normally intuitive for me to use a lot of software keybinds. I usually do stuff like with my tablet or I don't know. I don't like. I will say that all of the tutorials that that I watched, none of them told me about that. They told me you could use your scroll bar. Sometimes just the first person has to tell you. That's the thing. You can go your whole life without learning about this just a singular thing, and then in the scroll wheel. Holy hell! Vector, use a genius. You had me fooled. Just kidding. I know, use a smart cookie. Well, you know what I would blame? It's because you remember computer class? And how, like... Yeah, well, unfortunately, when I started out, computer class happened on IBM computers. And then IBM became obsolete. But at least IBM computers, they ran on Windows. But Vector, and you might remember this, I had to move, and then the school that I moved to, they all had Mac computers, like some kind of Neanderthals. And I was just so averse to any of the... They were just... I didn't like them. I didn't like having to use the. I felt like the UI was very unintuitive. And I guess there was just like a lot of stuff I just didn't learn because I checked out. It was like learned helplessness. That's what it's called. It was just. I thought, what's the point? It's just gonna change no matter what computer I'm looking at. Well, listen. I love my GameCube. There's nothing more to it. That thing rocks. Who's walking across my keyboard? Okay. I understood my Windows computer at home. They had some whack-ass programs that they were trying to teach us to use. Like, what was it called? Clarence Works? Speaking of GameCube's low poly model supremacy, I remember I used to watch friends play Tales of Symphonia and think anime style games will never need to look better than this. There's a lot of people in the fan community of Tales of Games that would absolutely agree with you. Because when they put Tales of Symphonia in HD, a lot of people not exactly excited about it. That is all I will say about that. The one early Naruto fighting game, I was just like, this rules, we can all pack it in now. Oh, was that Arxis that did that one? Or no, it was friggin' C Corp. Yeah, I know exactly which game you're talking about, Vector. I'm trying to remember the company. It was the one that made the dot hack games. It's like Triple C or something. I don't know. It was they made. Didn't they make like the Budokai games? Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Am I thinking of something else? Oh yeah. Unless it's like Rockstar or well, that's the thing. And nowadays, there's like no knowing if a studio will even continue existing for longer than it takes to make a single smash hit AAA game. Single A games? I like that. Single A. That's some grade. That's some real grade B stand-up material you got there. Space wisdom. When I finish this mesh, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna connect. Do you know what I haven't done in a long time? Control plus S. It's been a little. I might have been since before the stream started. So. Don't judge me. I am gonna take a hot second and go use the litter box. So I'll be back. That really didn't fade in very well. Hang on. There. There we go. Folks running around like it's a jungle gym. Where should I start? I always try to start kind of at the beginning of these little... I'm not going to be using these for a whole lot of complex movements, so it's okay if I space these out a little bit. It's another game that had just a great aesthetic. Honestly, I say honestly as if I'm about to say something controversial, but like, Wind Waker really freaking knew what it was doing. Like shit, man. Like, it did look better in the HD remake, but like the thing is that it was able to because it was so strong in the first place. It was just already really great to look at. It can only go up from where it was. Well, I mean, it could have gone down, and that would have been tragic. But thankfully it did. Ah! That is my favorite Legend of Zelda game. It took me a while to beat it, though, because I found Ganondorf to be really scary in that game. Ganondorf really scared me in general, like even when I was like just a little kitten. I was so scared of him. I didn't like it whenever whenever my brother or my dad was playing Ocarina of Time. I didn't like it when they went to the future because I didn't like the future. It was scary. Oh yeah, tag team it. That's another thing. Okay, so, and I feel like this is something that it seems to be lost in a lot of modern games. And it's, you know, games tend to be nowadays either multiplayer or they're single player. Like, it's either or. And then the co-op, like, there's no real co-op aspect anymore. Like, it's never a consideration anymore, at least from what I've seen. Where, you know, you can have more than one person. Yeah, the little buddy roll. They kind of had that in like the last game I can think of that really had that was Super Mario Galaxy, of all things. And even then, that one was kind of a lackluster version. But even like if there's like a well, I still need to play Baldur's Gate multiplayer. I need to see what that experience is like, because like lots of people will play Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3 at least, as like a co-op. And I haven't yet done that, because it took it took forever for the crossplay to come out. But I do want to have like a versus mode, like almost like an arcade mode. I just feel like it would be fun to have like an almost DDR versus thing going on. Wee. Couch co-op, absolutely. The reason I thought of it was because Wind Waker actually did have like a kind of... It was very convoluted, and of course, because it was a Nintendo game, it required some sort of jank-ass Nintendo hardware that was always way more trouble than it was worth. But the Tingle Tuner, which sounds like a euphemism when I say it out loud, really loud like that. But I think that's kind of the thing about Tingle. That's part of the deal with Tingle. That was always his MO, was you're never gonna feel fully comfortable talking about Tingle. Unless you're base, like I am. But yeah, I remember I would hop on the Tingle Tuner and help my brother Skipper whenever he would run low. When he would get really low on like the magic, I would beef him up with magic pots that you could buy through the Tingle Tuner. While he was, especially when he was like in the middle of like flying over something with the, what is it, the leaf, the Deku leaf or Deku leaf. Absolutely. And you had to have the Game Boy Advance, you had to have and you had to have not the Game Boy player, but it was like a, because we never had the Game Boy player. I don't think we did. It was a cable, like one of those cables that was always in like that really thick plastic casing that I think they must have like put it in that because they thought it would be like childproof or more childproof than a normal cable. But it was always like really like tough, you know? I'm sure they absolutely did think some kid was gonna be chewing through it. Um, yeah, we definitely had something to do the Tingle Tuner with. Oh no, you know what it was? It was like some sort of like Bluetooth before the age of Bluetooth. It was some kind of wireless thing, and you know, it had like a massive like chunky ass thing that you connected to the Game Boy, and then also connected to your GameCube controller slot. They really did love their peripherals. That was always kind of a Game Boy feature, like even back in the Game Boy Color days. Because you had to have peripherals to. I think Nintendo was always just really big on peripherals in general. It's making you buy extra stuff to enjoy your game you already purchased. Gosh. Thankfully, when it came to like stuff community-minded business. Thankfully, when it came to stuff like, you know how, well, they always release 2 Pokemon games so that, you know, theoretically, there's an extra game sold for every game sold. Like, at least there, we could, like, we could say, oh, well, there's 2 of us, and we both want the same game, so get one of us gold and get one of us silver, and then, you know. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you wouldn't ostracize. No, absolutely not, because, like, who else you need to trade. You need to be able to trade with them. Obviously. Unless you just played Pokemon differently than I did. It was great. I had Pokemon Heart Gold. Or no, I had Pokemon Gold, and my brother had Pokemon Silver. But then when the remake came out, I got Silver and he got Gold. Well, Skipper wanted Silver because he wanted Lugia, and I didn't care which which one I got. I was like, yeah, sure, the bird looks cool, I guess. I just wanted a Pokemon game, honestly, because when Pokemon Yellow came out, he got Pokemon Yellow, and then my folks were like, I'm not buying the same game twice. But obviously, it's a sin to delete your siblings' Pokemon save file. So I just had to go without for a whole generation. That was good old-fashioned Sexism. Sexism. The devil. The devil has his name. The devil has a name, and it's Nintendo. More and more people are finding out these days. Goodness gracious. I think genuinely it started out like they couldn't figure out how to. I mean, it was just a space thing. Like, how do you fit more than one game file onto one cartridge? But obviously nowadays it's like, what's your excuse? Like, come on. We all know that you could probably fit another save file on there. Especially now that they're not even actually, like, saved to a cartridge anymore. It's just saved to your Nintendo profile or whatever. That actually made me mad. When it came to Splatoon, when Splatoon came out and they were like, you can only have one Inkling. And I was so sad because yeah, I could have played on, like, with Skipper's Inkling, but it's not the same, you know? Do you like what has become of me? Turns out I'm just another link in your chain. You are still a girl that I used to know. All this time I was too blind to see. I should sing something else. It's that other little death song that I like. Oh, but I don't know all the words to that one. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We can tear apart the cushions for a little cash. Find enough to get some papers and a tank of gas. Something, 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 every night or day. There ain't a single thing we wouldn't sign away. Light 'em up till we don't know our names. Oh, rock bottom, oh, rock bottom, oh. Eyes wide, tongue tied when I get you by my side. I hope you stay the night, why don't you stay the night? We can hide in bed till they think we're dead. When I look at you, I think well, I think I maybe forget the words. Oh, gosh. Oh my gosh, it's 8 p.m. Right, well, I think I'm gonna finish this art mesh and then I'm gonna call it. Because, yeah. I definitely ran out of steam somewhere along the way. I also ran out of notes. But the notes really helped. So I think for the future, I will keep that in mind. I don't think I'm gonna get a chance to stream before Friday, to be honest. Maybe. I don't know. But definitely because it's a weekday, it'll be a video game. And then we can apparently get our emotions absolutely ransacked by this little indie game. So I'm stoked for that. I love inflicting psychic damage on myself. But yeah, I hope it was a little bit more coherent this time. You know, we always try and work to improve, work to make ourselves a little more efficient. So thanks for coming out. to those who came out, and thanks for the viewers that are watching this after the fact. That's also, I encourage you to do that. Yeah, and have a good night, Vector, and anyone else. I know there's a couple of you more. Don't ever feel like you're not contributing by just lurking. Don't worry about that. I enjoy getting to chat, but I'm also very grateful to those that lurk. But yeah, most likely, y'all are gonna see me again on Friday, and we're gonna be gaming. I'll probably figure out a way to actually set up a good gaming setup, because I know that my making setup and my chat setup, it's not conducive to that 16:9 aspect ratio. I've got an outdated aspect ratio on my little television here, so I'll figure something out. And I'll get to show that off next week. But thanks for coming by, and have a good night, everybody.